The route is described in some of the walking books as a challenging walk, and you'll get a clear idea of it from this video. I think the biggest thing with walking in Scotland is always make sure you are properly equipped. Check the weather, make sure you have the right footwear and clothing for the time of year. Okay, this is where we start. So let's just have a look. Explore the Pitlochry path network. And where are we? Let's have a quick look. We're up here. We've walked from Moulin up here and we're in this car park now. And where are we going? Well, we're going to go up Ben Vrackie. So we're going to follow this road, this path up. Small Moulin to Ben Vrackie at the top. The sign here tells us Ben Vrackie is 2.5 miles. So it's through deciduous trees at the start, and we can hear a wee burn tinkling away in the background. You can see there's a little entrance just out this peak at the river here. I'm going to just swing down a bit because look at these beautiful bracket fungus that are on this tree. As I look in front of me, this looks like a bridge that once was here, no doubt washed away. Beautiful, just lovely, peaceful spot before we break out onto the moors. Well, a few steps at the top. Little arrow on the post. We cross the road here through a kissing gate, again following the arrow. So we've walked up from here, and I'm just going to pan round. What always amazes me is how deep our streams are on the lower reach, and this is the Moulin burn up here. Again, a good drop down below us, but no doubt we'll walk next to it as we get up on the moorland. Well, not quite. It's been a good few years since I did this. It is within my 5-mile radius, of course, complying with all our politicians' directions on Corona. Very dry, not much water either. Isn't it? What a lovely day. I was hoping it would be. The start is so far good. Let's hope we maintain this weather and I can show you what a beautiful walk, one of many that we have around Pitlochry and also further afield across Highland, Dunkeld, Aberfeldy, Blair Athol, Rannoch, Kenmore. We're very lucky here with what we've got. Even when you're on holiday, you're not overrun by people. You often go on a walk on your own. As I go through another gate, Here's the burn. No deep gorge here. We can see Ben Vrackie there. As we walk through here, I thought I'd just tell you a little bit more about Ben Vrackie, the speckled mountain. It's 2,757 feet high, or 841 meters, and it's classified as a Corbett. Munros are mountains over 3,000 feet. I thought it might be an idea to do a wee pan round. You can see Ben Vrackie up here, that's where we're going to go to. And let's just pan round and look at what's around us. Kirkmichael is over here, Blairgowrie, Glenshee, the raid to Braemar. And we pan down, we're going to come to Tummel Valley or Glen, which is down here. And just below us here is Pitlochry. And we'll just keep panning around slowly, and we can see we're now up on the moorland proper. A nice time of the year also probably to do this is in July, August, because you've got the heather. Certainly August is when you see a lot of the heather out. And on the left here, this big hill on the left hand side, the paths will go to the right of that, and that's called Moulin Moor in Gaelic. And it really means big, bleak, bare hillside, or big, bald hillside. And that's the Gaelic name, always very, very descriptive. As I say, just to remind you, that's Ben Vrackie, our destination. And on the right hand side is Craig Vrack, mottled rock or crag. And this is where we are here. So the path will take us up in between here to Ben Vrackie. As we come up here, we come across a couple of well situated, located benches to reward people who have come this far. And here you can sit back and admire where you come from, with Pitlochry down the bottom here. It's a lovely spot, beautiful view as we go on up the hill. We come to a sign to make sure we don't get lost. Let's just see what it says in total. Bealach past to Killiecrankie, which is probably the way I'll go back. Bealach past to the car park. Ben Vrackie off here. We seem to have our nice cooling breezes. We just come past that junction there, and I thought as we walk along I'm going to let you have a look at Pitlochry down below us. I just thought it looks lovely. We're heading on up to this moorland, and there's Ben Vrackie in front of us. That's our destination. Still quite some way to go, I think. Beautiful. He's watching me. Maybe he's got a nest somewhere around here. When you're walking along, you never quite know when you'll get to the crest of a ridge. And I feel as though we're going to all of a sudden see things once we get over the top of this. But like so much of walking, quite often you meet false ridges on the way, and this may well be one of them. Yep, not quite the panoramic view I anticipated. On up. I just stopped to look back, see where we've come. The main reason I stopped was just looking at this stone wall here. And we've got hundreds of miles, thousands of miles of stone walls all over Scotland, and in times past, I suppose, prior to fences and trying to give people work, the stone walls were the things that did it to contain the animals. But also coming up here to a bit of heather. It looks as though it's been burnt, and those of you who went on my Glen Tylt cycle ride up to the Falls of Tough, and we talked about why the heather is burnt for the young grouse, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. And ahead of us now, coming round this bit, we can see the top of Ben Vrackie, just coming round the corner of this hill as we walk. And I'll probably just keep this on for a bit longer, not say much, and you can just watch the landscape as it appears. It's just wonderful, isn't it? Just, oh, I can't believe that I live in such a place as this. As we're all locked down, this is my exercise yard. You know, God, who can beat that? There's Ben Vrackie in front of us. That's where we will be going up. You can probably just see a couple of people there now, and we're going up to the top. And I can see our friend the wind. I'm not sure how it's affecting the microphone. Ben Vrackie, the speckled mountain, appears now, starting to appear on the skyline in front of us. It was known as the Speckled Mountain because it was covered in quartz stones, white quartz, which were picked up in the 1800s by a lot of the builders. There's Ben Vrackie at the top. Another blind summit, or is it? As we come up here, will we see anything? Yeah, we're coming up all the time and getting the different views. I think there's a hint of what I was looking for down here. So I shall keep this on, and as I say, it's been a few years since I've done this. A beautiful day and confined to 5 miles of Killiecrankie. I just thought this is an opportunity to walk it once again. I did earlier mention to you, although this mountain is 2,750 feet high, which is nothing really, as somebody who was brought up next to Mount Kilimanjaro at 18,000 odd feet or whatever, or might be just under 20,000. It's nothing, but you have to remember in Scotland we are very far north. The landmass, the land, as I said, is some of the oldest in the world, and these are stumps of what used to be much bigger hills. So when you go for a walk, make sure you're fully prepared, depending on the season, right footwear, right clothing. And remember, every 100 feet, I once read, you go up a hill is 1 degree drop in temperature. And many is a time the tourist has set off feeling nice and warm at the bottom of Ben Nevis and gone up totally ill prepared. for the hillside and the mountainside. So make sure you have more than you need in terms of clothing, footwear, mobile phone, and also food and water. Make sure you're well hydrated. I'm going to keep this going. I can see a group of people coming around this corner, and the little lochen here, which is actually a dam. We'll walk across the dam wall to it, but we'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. My brother has very kindly helped me with this. He came over from Kenya and he taught himself, he went Gaelic, he went to Scotland Bosque or whatever it is on Skye, the Gaelic school. And Loch Chaw is this loch, and it's really the Cauldron Lake, or Kettle Lake in Gaelic. So maybe the cauldron from the bottom of the once extinct volcano, I don't know. As I walk up here, I think we need to remember all those people who've obviously put a lot of time and effort into creating a path that doesn't erode the mountainside. Somebody, or some people in the past, must have done this. So important to helping to preserve our landscape. Tilt the camera back. As we can see, our path on up to the top. Isn't that beautiful? All this moorland. We've just come up here, the lochen is just below us, and I want to just plan over here and talk to you about down here, just beyond where this loch, or it looks like a bit more like a man-made small dam, and there are remains of 5 Bronze Age hut circles and settlements and field systems all down here. So the Bronze Age was 2,500 to BC to 800 BC, and when I looked up to see what I could learn about them, they're called the Badio hut circles and farmsteads. Each monument comprises the remains of between 2 and 7 hut circles, or circular houses, with single and double walled houses, and the circles are between 9 and 13 meters in diameter. And the doubled wall houses have about 3 feet between the 2 walls, and it just makes me think of Celtic towers that you get on the west coast, duns or brochs as they're called. There also remains a contemporary field system which are marked out by clearance cairns. One of the things about these remains all over Scotland is similar sort of dwellings would have occurred everywhere in the landscape in the Bronze Age, but in the better pastures they would have been dug up or moved, use of the pasture. But in marginal pastures such as here, where it's very hard to eke out a living, and in fact nobody lives there today, they are preserved. They're preserved under blanket of peat, and a lot of the history is there. So when people get a chance and opportunity, they can dig down, and archaeology has come a long way, and we can look back and see and learn more about how our ancestors lived. This beautiful little flower, I don't know what it is, but I just thought it was worth showing you. I'm just going to talk briefly about the native mountain hare, native to the Scottish Highlands, and it's about 1/2 meter in length, and it weighs 2.5 to 5 pounds in weight. They live between 3 and 4 years. Their coat changes colour during the winter months. They shelter in forms, which are shallow depressions on the ground or in the grass. They don't dig burrows. The females produce between 1 and 4 litters of 1 to 3 leverets a year. Scottish mountain hare populations experienced a major decline, particularly in areas managed by intensive driven grouse shooting activity. The status of the mountain hare has been downgraded to unfavourable by the EU. And what this means is conservation action needs to be taken to arrest further decline and aid their recovery. It's interesting, when I just quickly checked the BBC website this morning for news, members of the Scottish Parliament have voted to ban unlicensed culling and make the mountain hare a protected species. Gamekeepers insist that the Scottish Parliament has made, quote, a grave mistake, and the move is bad for land management. It is such a pity that we in Scotland don't seem to appreciate our natural indigenous species. We've recently seen headlines about the beavers in Tayside, and the farmers don't like those. Raptors are often killed, and again we see reports of that, and of course now mountain hare. I would love to see Scotland leading the world in how to conserve its indigenous species and showing everybody how it's done. But anyway, I'm heading on up for this wee viewpoint, about halfway up. I thought, let's just get up here and have a look. There's the Loch of the Cauldron, and pan round. That's the loch with its dam wall, and down there is where we were talking about the Bronze Age settlements. So I'm going to head on up. I've got the last wee bit to do as we go up to the top, and no doubt the views will be even more spectacular. A gradual slog, and I'd say you don't have to go to the top, but I'm really impressed by all these people who did all this work, allowing us the pleasure of going up here without destroying the hill. Walk along, I just thought it gives us a chance to look at this scree that we see when we view Pitlochry. Quite spectacular. Anyway, I'm heading on up. A chance just to look back, and we are getting up higher and higher. The scree here on our left. Incredible, isn't it? Right up here, trickle, trickle, trickle of water. Beautiful. I sit here having my lunch, I thought it might be worth panning around. The visibility seems to have improved a touch. This is Pitlochry just down here where we've come up. You can probably just see the path coming through there. And basically we've walked up from here, Moulin, up here, up the scree to where I'm sitting. And I'm just going to slowly pan around and talk to you as to the different views that we can see here. And in front of us, in the distance, you can see Loch Tummel. And I think Rannoch is right at the end up here. And beyond Rannoch, which you probably just can't make out, are the mountains of Glencoe. The mountain up here is Highland, the fairy mountain that most of you will know. And this is the Tummel where you go out to Queen's View along there. Pan round again, the pass of Killiecrankie is literally just down the bottom here. And the battle site that I talked to you about at the start of this coronavirus, and the 10-part episode going through Hugh Mackay's account and Cameron Lockheel's account took place just here. And you can see the A9 going through the middle of the battlefield. You can see Blair Castle up here, and Blair Castle was put there because it was on a flat plain. Blair means flat plain, and it was the junction between the west coast over here, which is Fort William, Glencoe, and the pass people would come through there to here to the central part of Scotland. It was also the north-south connection, because you've got down here the pass of Killiecrankie and up to Dromocta, and that was the other way that people would go, and they still go. The A9 goes through that way, and the other is from the east, again from Blair here. And the other day I cycled to the Falls of Taff, and the route I would have taken is this way, the other side of these two hills, Carnalear and Beniglow, and the pass would have gone on then to Braemar to the east. And that's why Blair Castle was so important in times past. With this being up here, I thought I might tell you about a wee story, and my brother has kindly put it together for me from 1563. Down below us, you can see our path we've come up, is the Moulin, the village where we started. And this story is for the annals of Strathdal. And Strathdal, when we look from here, as my camera decides to jump everywhere, Strathdal is right over here. And I'm going to just tell you about the story that involves Clan McGregor, who were being hunted down, and their name was banned and prescribed. And the Campbells of Argyll sent a strong party of men from Aberfeldy with orders to hunt down and capture these McGregors. I can feel the wind here, so I wonder if this will give me a wee bit of shelter. The Campbells were accompanied by their dogs, as we hear dogs barking in the background. We were especially trained to hunt McGregors. The training consists of bringing the puppies up on McGregor women's milk, causing the dogs always to look for McGregors. And on their way to Strathdal, they stopped for refreshment at Moulin. And as mentioned to you, Moulin is down here below us, and that's where we started out from. A Ferguson resident happened to be in the inn, and seeing the black dogs, knew the Campbells were up to no good. He engaged them in conversation and found that they were on their way to get the McGregors. He managed to get out word to Strathdal men who carried the McGregors on their backs into the hills. And that made me wonder, why would you want to carry them on their backs? Well, the story goes on. It was so that they left no trail for the dogs to follow. And the Campbells were a strong party, so they plied them with alcohol and offered them a place to sleep. In the meantime, a party had collected the McGregors' plaids, tartan blankets and put them on top of the sleeping Campbells. And the dogs were then released. Of course, they were covered in McGregor blades and they could smell them. And they attacked the Campbells thinking they were McGregors. So ended the foray of Campbells into Strathar in 1563. It's a lovely place and I just love it. I'm lucky to be sitting here on a beautiful day, and I just hope you've enjoyed it. And what I'm going to do is, when I've finished this, I'm going to head on down here around the other side of that hill, and I live in Killiecrankie, which is down there.